Oh.
Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Triple P, TRIPPLE.P, and I am your astrology pimp, your astrology prophet, and your astrology priest. And today's 7 Seas Astrology Prophetics video topic will be men should never need women. So I want to put emphasis on this again. When I said never, I think a man should never, ever, ever, ever need a woman. Unless you are trying to procreate or something of that sort, then you would need a woman. In fact, you could actually adopt a child or something of that sort as well. But in most cases, I'm talking about a general need for a woman. I'm talking about needing a woman sexually. I don't think, in fact, I think that would be the worst thing that any young man or young players from the Himalayas could do is actually need a woman sexually. Again, I'm not talking just about sex, I'm talking about needing a woman in general for anything psychological, emotional, financial, anything that you could think of. It is in your best interest. The less you need a woman, the better off for you. So back to sex. I again believe that that is why if you guys go and watch all of my videos, my foundational videos, the first very few videos that I created, the first one was titled "How Did I Get the Name Triple P?" Go and check it out. And then there was another video that I created titled "How Did I Go 6 Years Without Sex?" And I was happy. So during that time, before I was also addicted to having sex, I didn't really care to that degree. I mean, I did care about how the females look, but however, I had no sexual discipline earlier on in the game. But however, when I started to practice some spiritual practices such as no fap, semen retention, and the sacred secretion, I did not actually intend to go 6 years. It just happened because I've had so much, I've done so much in the past. I've had so many sex. I've had so much sex in the past. After the last relationship I was in, I said to myself, maybe it would be a good time for me to just work on myself, improve myself in every way, shape, form, whether it be financially, emotional, psychological, and especially in the area of women. So because that was also another weak area that I had. I had a few other habits. You know, I drank, I smoked, and go and check out some of my videos. I talk a lot about these stuff as well. But again, I decided to take that time, leaving that last relationship or coming out of a last relationship, if I may say, I decided to take that time to build myself in every way, shape, and form. So one of the areas that I knew that I was lacking in was sexual discipline. And so that is why I'm telling you guys this today. If you need a woman for anything, that woman is going to have the upper hand. She's going to have leverage on you. And I'm not promoting, getting involved with streetwalkers. I'm saying that I would rather a man go and spend money with a streetwalker, someone who just comes and goes into his life and leaves, rather than to be in a relationship with a woman who is abusing you or treating you with the utmost disrespect, and who is just taking advantage of your inability to control your lusts and your sexual desires. Because women know that men are weak in the area of sex. Women know that they could hold sex out from a man, and a man will almost do anything to regain that ability to have sex with her. That is just what men do. Men are weak in that area. And again, that is why, again, I tell you guys in all of my videos for the most part, spend time alone. Go and spend time alone. If you are in a relationship and you just came out of a relationship, it's the best time to go and practice some type of sexual discipline practice, such as no fap, semen retention, things of that sort. Is going to give you guys the ability to have sexual discipline and to be able to stand your ground and not be used or taken advantage of in any way, because you cannot control your sexual desires. So again, sex is not just something, you know, men take sex very serious. I would almost say more than women. Women do not see sex the way men see sex. Women want sex too. I'm not saying that they don't desire sex. However, sex is not on their highest priority of the list, because men, procreation is of the highest priority to most men, and that is why men tend to be biologically, from an evolution perspective, want to have sex. So again, one of the biggest obstacles men have and face in life and in relationships overall is not having sexual discipline. So if a man can control his sexual discipline, he will be able to control just about anything. Because once a man analyzes what most women bring to the table, again, I did not say all women, I said most women bring absolutely nothing to the table in a relationship other than sex and other than looks. And again, by no means I am mad at women. I love women to death, and I'm just saying this is a fact. So what I'm stating is that men do not realize this, and so they think that the sex is the ultimate prize that they would receive from the woman. However, again, what men fail to realize is that women love sex just as much as you. So when a man thinks that he is getting a reward, if I may say, by getting sex, he is doing himself a disservice, because the woman loves to have sex just as much as him. However, the scale is so imbalanced because the man's ignorance, he fails to understand that not only that she loves to have sex just as much as him, he is the one doing all the work in most cases. And in most cases, the women just lay there and let the man do all the work. And the man gives all of his energy, all of his skills and everything away to please the woman. And in most cases, the woman actually does almost nothing for the man from that aspect. And on top of that, the man has to go and spend more money on gifts and dates and so forth and so on, just to get the sex. And the woman might not even have the best attitude. She might not be the most supportive or anything of that sort. I'm just stating that men must come to some understanding of the value that they must put on themselves first and foremost before they go and try to just have sex with women, thinking that they are getting something, like it's some big reward. So sex, again, I'm putting on one of the highest priorities on this list. And then you have things such as emotional needs. Men, whatever a man does, please do not need a woman to help you resolve your emotional issues, because that is what women do. Women come to men to help men. Women come to men to help them resolve their emotional issues and problems, and give them some type of solitude, some type of solace, so they could actually break away from having the feelings that they have. So if a man needs a woman for emotional support, that is also one of the worst things a man could do, because a man does not understand that women are emotional beings. So women are the one that actually needs the most help in that area. So when a man needs a woman emotionally, he is now taking on the feminine role again, and also financially. Now, if you now, I've been in the game for so long, I've touched just about every area. Go and watch my video again. How did I get the name Triple P? And that will give you guys a very extensive history about my dating life, my sex life, numbers, and my activities in the game. And there was a point of time when I was actually a gigolo as well. That was one of the first times that I actually got something out of the deal from a woman, because I too, just like every man, thought that I was getting just sex as a reward, until one of my friends told me, he said, "Hey man, you need to get something more out of this deal other than sex." But because I was so naive at the time, I didn't know any better. He told me, "Man, you know what? You should get something. It doesn't make sense you sleeping with all these girls and not getting anything." And so he told me about a few things that he got, and I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. He told me, I mean, this was way back in the day, way back in the day. this was a time, I would say, when women maybe spent more on men at that time, because things are different now. You still can get a female to spend on you, but she has to really like you a lot. That is something that women tend to not do naturally. However, if a woman is attached to you and she really loves you or likes you, love whatever that means for a woman, she will spend on you as well. But in most cases, women tend to believe men are the breadwinners and men do most of the supply financially. So again, back in the day when I was introduced to the Gigolo game, then I decided to actually get something out of the deal from women. And I was very successful at it as well. But again, I was dealing with a different breed of women. I was dealing with a different race of women. I was dealing with all different type of geographic situations that made me to be so successful in the Gigolo game and getting these things. I had women giving me credit cards. I had women loaning me their cars. I was sleeping at one point in time, I was homeless. I wasn't really homeless on the streets, like living on the streets, but you know, when you certain places, certain parts of the world, I don't want to say where, but certain parts of the world, when you don't have a bill coming to a house, they consider that homeless. Even if you're living at your cousin's house and you don't pay a bill, there's no bill coming to that house. In certain parts of the world, they consider you homeless. So again, I was not sleeping on the sidewalks. I was not on the street corners, but technically, I was living in a woman's house. And so at one point in time, I was again sleeping at one girl's house for like Monday to Tuesday. I was sleeping at another girl's house Wednesday, Thursday, and then I was sleeping at one of my boys' house Friday and Saturday. And I was literally doing this for some time when I did go through some type of hardship. But however, the moral of the story is that was in an era when women were more gracious and generous financially towards men that they really liked. You have to get a woman that really, really likes you in this age, in this time, in 2025, to actually spend her financial resources on you. I'm not saying women don't do it. I'm just saying that a woman has to really like you. So anyhow, back to my history. So in the Gigolo game, I did get all type of rewards financially. Like I said, I got rentals, cars, this credit cards, food, whatever. I mean, I didn't, nothing came out of my pocket. It was amazing to some degree. But it came with pros and cons as well. It's all that glitters is not gold. So it did come with one or two stipulations and one or two things that I maybe did not necessarily, feel that I enjoyed doing, if I may say. Some things that I maybe didn't want to really, I maybe would have not normally have done, but that is the price that comes along with being a playboy. So, but anyhow, so never need a woman financially, never need a woman emotionally, and definitely never need a woman sexually. Because anything that you need a woman for, I'm not saying that, again, we all fall on hardships and hard times sometimes, and there may come a time that if you are in a relationship or if you are in a marriage and you maybe lose your job, back in the day, and when they had a particular virus and everything shut down, and then we had a lot of men lose their jobs. A lot of people lost their job in general, male and females. But I'm saying to you, it is okay if something happens drastic, the company that you work for closed down, and you need to transition from getting one job to the next, or something happened to you physically, you got sick, and you need someone to help take care of you because you can't go to work, and you do need someone to help support you psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. That is okay to need a woman in under those circumstances, but only under those circumstances temporarily. Again, temporarily. I'm not saying that you should never, ever, ever need the assistance of a woman. However, what I'm saying to you is that it should not be something that you need to survive. It should never be that you need this woman to do something for you that you are incapable of doing yourself. You should be able to get everything that you need and you want on your own, first and foremost, because anytime that you need a woman, you are no longer going to satisfy her SMV. Again, for those who are just coming into the game, SMV simply means sexual market value. And that is what I try to preach and teach to you guys. The main message that all of these videos are going to evolve around is satisfying a woman's hypergamy. And so when you need a woman for anything, I'm not saying want something from a woman, Yes, you may want sex. Yes, you may want this. Yes, you may want her to do certain things for you, a favor for you, or whatever the case may be. But you should never need a woman for anything. The only woman I would say that you actually need in your life is your goddamn mom. That is it. You need your mother to love you. You need your mother to respect you. And you need your mother to give you validation and say, good boy, you're good. And your mother, that is all the love and attention and affection that you need from a goddamn woman is your mother's love. And for those who have not gotten mother's love, then I could understand why they might have maybe some issues with women as well. Because I do know one or two men that actually went, barbaric on women because of not having intimate relationships. When I say intimate relationships, I'm talking about deep, deep relationships with their mom growing them up, and so forth and so forth and so on. So again, that is the only woman I think that a man should need and should really put all of his attention on. But in reference to a relationship, that is not what you're trying to achieve. So again, if you need a woman for any reason, I don't care whatever the reason is. At first, she might feel that she might say, "Okay, I'm helping him out," and she might feel, that she might feel needed to some degree. But however, if that need goes on too long, her SMV perception of you will be lowered, and then she's going to automatically, her radar is going to go off and thinks that maybe I need to start looking for new prospects, new men. Maybe I need to start keeping my eye open and campaign for new guys. That is what's going to happen whether you like it or not. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen always, because again, I don't want to use the word always and generalize all women. But however, I'm saying that from a SMV value perspective, women do not like needy men. However, again, if you were in a relationship and you were in a relationship for some time, for quite some time, a few years or whatever the case may be, and you were a solid provider and you were solid financially, you helped with this, you helped with that, you kept the house stable, you didn't need the woman for almost anything, and then something happened to you on the job. Maybe again you lost the job, or the place that you work for, the job closed down, something of that sort, and then now you need to rely on your female, your wife or your girlfriend to help support you financially and help you to get through some of the emotional, psychological, turmoil that you may experience going through some of these issues. That only then and only then that you should actually need a woman. But again, that is temporal, because if you need a woman full time, once you need a woman on a permanent basis or longer than X amount of time, there will be an expiration date, and her patience, her tolerance will run out at some point, and her attraction for you is going to drop. You may also realize that over a period of time, she was once sexually attracted to you, wanting to have sex with you frequently. You're going to notice there may be a decline in that area. You will also might notice there may be a decline in her respect for you, the way she talks to you, the way she treats you, some of the things that she once did with joy and glee. She came and she brought the food to the table, and she put the napkin down, and she did all of this. She treated you like a king, and she might do it for some time. She may do it for some time. However, again, as long it does not meet the requirements to where that she feels that you are now becoming a burden. Because I too, for example, I remember going back for my personal history. I remember being in a relationship with this girl, and but at the time I was on some gigolo shit too, so I can't really say, this is a good example, but it is almost a good example, because this female at one point, she did do almost everything for me. She did so much for me. I could not believe it. That I don't think one woman in this world have done as much. Maybe two. I would say maybe two. It's very rare. Trust me, guys. If you do find a woman that actually is putting effort into you, great effort, I highly think that you guys should consider that woman a prize as well, because that is very rare. So again, I did have a female at one point who actually did almost everything. But at the same time, what happened was I had some financial issues for a very long time, because I was pursuing certain things that I wanted to do I was maybe being too picky at the time with what type of career, job, and this and that. So it's understandable. So the woman just didn't just get up one day and decided to leave, or one day she didn't get up and decided to disrespect me because she tolerated my behavior for a very long time, only because she really, really, really liked or loved me. That is what I'm trying to tell you. So I was looking for a particular type of job, and I wanted to have this particular type of status, and I was not willing to settle for certain things. But however, this woman, she knew that I had potential, but at the same time, she knew that I just was looking for what I felt that I deserved. So at the same time, what happened was, over a period of time, over some time, she got a little discouraged. At the same time, well, it looks like the rain is coming down, so I'm going to try and end this pretty quick. But anyhow, like I was saying, so it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight. The female didn't leave. She just didn't get up and walk away one day and said, hey, she had enough. It took a few years because I did this for a long time. I had one or two jobs sporadically, off and on. And such that also would apply to you guys who don't have stable employment. You guys are constantly, on one job today, off a job another day. One day you have it, the next day you don't. That is one issue that you guys have to develop, financial stability as well, because that too is going to become a problem for the woman over a period of time. So again, this girl didn't just get up and leave because she loved me. In fact, like I said, there was a few women that I had in my life that I could count my finger on, my one hand on, that actually loved me to that degree. I mean, it was a few, but however, this girl went beyond the call of duty for me. So again, but it was not, she just did not leave overnight. But however, when the time came, and which is understandable, I'm not mad at her because I did that for such a long time. I understand. But at the same time, I too noticed there was a change in her attitude towards me over a period of time. And again, she did this for a long time, so I'm not mad at her at all. Because again, what she did, most women would not have dealt with for such a long period of time. So again, this woman, over a period of time, she started to become a lot more distant. She started to become a little bit more cold in some areas, and then she started to demonstrate some distance. So at the same time, because I knew game, but I had game on hold at the time, I kind of felt like my time is up. It was time for me to kind of just get ready to pack my Georgie bundle and actually be out of here, because I know it just would be a matter of time before I get kicked out, because I was living with this woman for a period of time. So I had to actually work on a transition plan to actually move somewhere else or do something. But however, I did stay with this female for such a long time. But however, again, every rope must run out. Every dog has its day. Every player, every P, every Mac, every lover boy, every playboy must break a plate at some point. That is why you guys need to watch my video, Women Come Going. So again, I am not stating that you guys do not need a woman temporal if there may be some financial issues with your job or something happened to you physically, you got sick, you got ill, then that is fine. But to need a woman long term for anything, it is going to be detrimental to the relationship. The woman is going to lose value for you. She's not going to see you in the same light. She's going to lose sexual attraction for you. She's going to lose respect for you. She's going to lose all type of things for you, because women want to look up to a man. And one of the reasons women look up to men in most cases is because of being stable. So with that being said, when do you need a woman? You should never ever need a woman unless circumstances force you to, that will be on your control. Like I say, losing a job, getting sick, the company closing down, something happening to a family member, whereas you have to take on some other responsibilities and you may need her help. But for the most part, never, ever, ever, ever need a woman at all. So with that being said, once again, I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you are As usual, please, please, please stop believing in illusions, delusions, and hallucinations. Triple P, and I'm out.
Oh.